Welcome to TrekTrav. I'm Trav. This is Star Trek Lower Decks Season 5, Episode 1, Cerrito. And it is the opener. I'm filming this before I've watched the second episode, so we're just going to talk about the first episode. Devana Tendi is with the Orions. She has a crew and they're stealing stuff from a collector. She's in a disguise as another alien. She does this really cool trick and she manages to rob this guy blind. We go to the opening credits and there's some really interesting stuff in the opening credits. For example, I'm gathering because it's the final season, they just added everything into the ship battle-y sequence thing. So we got the cloud from the motion picture, we got the big hand from TOS, we just got all this stuff added. We got some Tholian laser beams, and it was just really fun to see. It's fun to be back in the Lower Decks universe. It's fun to sort of, because we know it's the final season, it's just a fun show to watch. So we go to the Cerritos and they are in the, I want to say it's the shuttle holding bay. Rutherford is not dealing with Tendi being gone very well, and he is sort of working his ass off. He's got he's unshaven and disheveled, kind of like how I'm looking at the moment, but I'm okay, I swear. So they try and get him out of it, but he doesn't really want to. Then they get called to the bridge, and there is an anomaly, of which is an entrance to a parallel world. There is mention of these anomalies popping up more and more often, so maybe we will see this more and more often. They go to close it, they get sucked through, and they are greeted by another Cerritos with a Captain Mariner. And the theme of this episode for Mariner is that she has to train some new ensigns, but when we get through, we get a Captain Mariner, and we get different variations. There's like a 0.32 something difference between the two universes. Their uniforms are a bit darker, and some of them have different hairstyles and stuff like that. They don't get along with each other, like the pairings of the different crew, and they're all trying to get back. Boimler obviously is very intrigued by alternate Boimler, who has a beard and takes over for the captain on the ship quite often. Rutherford meets his alternate version, and he's mostly robot, and he deleted all of Tendi's memories. He did not handle it very well, and there's this running thing of Captain Beckett not knowing whether she's alive or dead or what happened to her, and we don't find out to the very end. We get more Orion fun. Basically, Tendi wants to go back. She wants to know when she's paid her debt. Her sister says, "You get this ship, your debt is paid." The ship itself is like an ancient Orion ship, so it's a really beautiful kind of design, actually. Tendi and her three crew go on there. Tendi, they get attacked by blue Orions, and I don't know whether I'm meant to know who these guys are or not. There may be some like animated series stuff, but it was genuinely sort of, it was fun to see these characters who looked really silly. They fight, and one of them gets stabbed, and then Tendi, when the others are going for the bridge, saves his life. And we cut back to the Cerritos. So the two ships are together. They come up with a plan to sort of unlock and do things. It doesn't work. They're still arguing. We find out that Captain Freeman, or Mariner's alternate, whips her crew members and leads with fear and scariness, which is fun. I don't know why she had a horse whip. It's a very particular choice of whipping. It's fun to see sort of this variation, and certainly fun to see like Boimler's alternate takes them to work on the outside of the ship. We find out the robot Rutherford, or Otherford as Rutherford calls him, which I think is great. We find out that he is turned off pretty much all of his friendship making circuits. Boimler Boimler's double is sort of staying back in the ship, and he's kind of cool and laid back, and he tells Boimler just to be himself. He has a pad, and Boimler wants to know how he got this. So he just goes, oh, can you tell me every choice you made that was different from me forever? And then Boimler steals his pad when the other Boimler leaves because he can take over the ship. And it's interesting. Rutherford turns the friendship mode on the Otherford, turns it on so they can make friends. Mariner and obviously the captain, Captain Beckett, Captain Other Mariner, it's confusing. They don't get along anymore. She apparently sends everyone to brig. Apparently the ship is mostly brig, which was a funny little stay. We get a fight between two of the characters who don't get on. It's a really fast episode, and this is the problem I have with Lower Decks reviews. It's a really fast sort of bang, bang, bang things are happening. So with the Orions, they are trying to get to the bridge, and then they find out that it's a medical transport because back in the day, they had medical transports. Then the crew finds out that Tendi did not kill the Blue Orion. She healed him, and they admit, after some tension, that they don't want to be pirates either. They don't want to kill people either. And Tendi sort of realizes, oh shit, this is what's going on. And they sort of join forces and get the ship and fly off back to Orion. The Cerritos, or one of the three, I got a bit confused between which Cerritos was which Cerritos, and they're all working together again, even though, and there's a line that Captain Beckett says, which is, there's no interpersonal problems on my ship. And I'm like, oh, that's a bit of a dig. TNG, in the TNG era. They are about to go, and then we find out that Captain Mariner wants to take our Mariner's place and basically stuns her, knocks her out, changes clothes, and goes back to the ship. And it's pretty clear, like, she says like some weird sort of nerdy things, and then she gets on the ship and she's sitting there and she's blocking incoming hails because Mariner, who realizes on the other ship, oh, I can just use the captain's codes to unlock my handcuffs. The handcuffs come off and she goes out into the bridge, and it's pretty quickly, they pretty much assume when she says, please help me, that it's not her. And then they admit the truth. It was really funny to me that it was very resolved very, very quickly. Basically with them figuring out who it was, switching, Captain Mara gets sent to the brig, the Cerritos goes back, Tendi goes back to her planet. She thinks she's going to be free, and her sister says you can be free, but she has started a war with the Blue Orions, that because she used un-Orion tactics to heal him, the gas to make them laugh, and her sister says, look, you can go, and she goes, no, I have to solve the problem myself. So maybe we're going to get a lot more Orion stuff. I'm learning more about Orion culture is genuinely been a highlight of Lower Decks anyway. I want to see where this space anomaly thing comes. Maybe we'll get like, do you know what would be really good? If we got like a guest appearances by characters from the Kelvin timeline, that would be so good. And I wonder whether it'll actually happen. There was also a guest star in this I didn't realize, and I'm literally looking at the screen now, looking at this. Ariel Winter, who is the middle child from Modern Family, plays one of the I Am Gathering Orion team that is with Tendi, and it's genuinely, I like the Tendi stuff. I'd like to see more Orion stuff. It's good to have our cast back, and this episode, while not outrageously amazing, was really, really interesting. Tell me what you think in the comments, and I will be back after I've watched the second episode. I'm back from episode 2, Shade of Green, and it was a fun episode. It wasn't spectacular, but it was fun. Tendi and the Blue Orions and her family, whoever loses all their wealth. And it's interesting because Tendi finds out that her sister is pregnant, so of course she doesn't want her sister doing anything dangerous. On the Cerritos, Boimler and Mariner are on a planet that has just got rid of capitalism, which is interesting. I was like, oh, okay, I'm actually like, let's see what this is. And then pretty much the whole planet's having like a huge party and having lots of fun. Boimler's trying to grow a mustache. He's using Boimler quotes or Boimlets or something like that. Like he gives like little bits of advice to his crew that he's looking after, and they seem very uninterested. Mariner convinces him to go and have a little bit of fun, and they disappear. The sailing ships are on their way. The Queen of the Orions has sent them, and they're going. The Blue Orions attack them and eventually knock them, and they crash into a planet after Tendi does a lot of stuff to try and get her sister not to do anything because she's pregnant. So Tendi tries to get the crew to revolt against her so she doesn't do anything. And then we find out that actually Tendi's the only one who doesn't know. And the reason her sister didn't tell her is because her being the winter constellation-y position means that she'll have to train her sister's daughter, Erica's daughter. That is why she didn't say anything, because she wants Tendi to go back to Starfleet. On the Cerritos, we get Rutherford and T'Lyn having an interesting moment where T'Lyn's trying to get his attention. And he doesn't really want it because he misses Tendi. And it's sweet that Rutherford's she's trying to fix some doors, and T'Lyn's trying to sort of prompt him to help fix the shuttle. And then she ends up fixing the whole shuttle herself, and he's genuinely disappointed because he can't work on it because it was something he was working on with Tendi. Mariner and Boimler get back, and their ensigns have disappeared. They go looking for them where Boimler thinks they are. They've been kidnapped by capitalists who don't like the fact that they are now worth nothing. They go on the hunt for them. There's a funny part where they contact Ransom, but Boimler speaks into Mariner's communicator, and he goes, "Oh, it's nice to see you're sharing communicators." And he does it again later, and he's like, "Boimler, do you need your own communicator? I can send one down." And it's a funny sort of little moment. They find the crew. The crew's been abducted. They know that these capitalists are there. They go to their house, and all of their servant robots have guns sticky taped to them and stuff like that. So they can't really fire. I really don't get, they can't do anything, but they capture Mariner and Boimler, take them to the prison cell where the ensigns are being held, and from all appearances, they are dead, and Boimler freaks the fuck out. We find out Mariner wanted to be a bit carefree and wacky because she was worried that she was becoming a bit too serious because she's training ensigns, and Boimler was just trying to be a little bit carefree because he wanted to be cool. And it's genuinely really good sort of character moments in this. T'Lyn sort of confesses to Rutherford after she's fixed the entire shuttle that she just wanted his attention. Rutherford goes, "I've been trying to sort of," I don't know, he mentions that he's been missing Tendi and there's something they did together, and he thought what T'Lyn did was sweet, but at the same time he was sad about it, and T'Lyn just looks genuinely confused. Tendi and her sister and the crew manage to hook onto an asteroid and then make it back to the Blue Orion's ship. They manage to get in, they get the treasure that they've got from the other end of the race and are bringing it back, and Tendi decides to blow it up because then it's a tie and no one wins and no one can lose any of their profits. Except the Queen doesn't look at it that way, and she takes away all their profits anyway. We find out after the rich people come down and see the two dead crew, they're like, "Oh my God, we didn't want this to happen," and they end up going to live on a farm somewhere. The robot sort of goes, "Oh, I didn't mean to do this, my life, da da da." We find out that they listened to some of the Boimets, or the Boimler quotes, and they discovered a bug that makes them seem like they are dead. They come back to life. This is the ensigns. And it's genuinely like just a really funny moment. And then they're like, Boimler's like, let's get back to the ship. It's like, no, we want to party. And they do. Then we get Tendi back aboard the Cerritos after she talks to her family, and her sister says you should go back. And she meets with Rutherford. It's instant hugs. They go to the shuttle bay, and Talin's destroyed the shuttle again so they can work on it. And Tendi invites Talin to join in on it. Mariner and Boimler come in and they see Tendi, and Tendi and Mariner have this like, and it's one of those rare like animated hugs where they spin, and I was like, this is a really sweet moment. And then to solve Tendi's family's problem of having no money, the money that they have been pretty much taking away from this planet that's just lost its capitalism, they give to the particular family of Tendi, and they are now wealthy again, and the Blue Orions are working for them. I did Google the Blue Orions, and it turns out in the animated series, male Orions were blue, whereas this implies that they're separate but the same species of different colors. So thank you, Google. These first two episodes, they're fun, they're lower decks, and I can't wait to see what this season has to offer. I really hope we get a good send-off. I really hope the last episode is worthwhile. I really hope that the series ends on a high, because it shouldn't have been cancelled. It's genuinely a good series. It's been such a fun ride, and I am ready for the next 8 episodes. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me what you liked about these first 2 episodes. I will be on the Sci-Fanatics live show on the weekend, and also I will be back with a Voyager review on Sunday with Ribbit.
Welcome to TrekTrav. My penis is now an inning.